Next problem is the ship of Theseus.
Oh, we love that. Okay, so yeah,
This thought experiment explores identity and change. If all the parts of a ship are replaced over time, is it still the same ship? If not, at what point does it become a different ship? So basically, if you take a ship and then, let's say each day, you take a year and each day you replace one part of the ship, right? You take the mast one day and you change it for another mast. You take like this plank of wood and you change it for another one. You take the cannons and you change them for other cannons. At the end of that year, when you've replaced, all parts of the ship, when it's like a, in quotes, completely new ship, is it a new ship or is it the same ship?
Yeah,
and at what point?
And the best answer to that is it doesn't matter. If you do think that the ship is the same ship, right? But it has all the different parts, but it has the same structure. So it's about structure. If you're a structuralist, well, if you do the exact same thing, but you keep the original ship fully, and then you build the exact same ship with the same structure next to it, with all the parts that in the thought experiment were going to compose the original ship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you have to say that those two ships are the same ship.
The exact same ship.
Yeah, so you're done. And if you're a materialist, which would mean that you say there's no ship.
There's no
the
ship.
Doesn't exist. If you're
It's not the same ship.
You're a conspiracy theorist, no. But if you're a materialist and you say it's not the same ship, then that's kind of also hard. But whatever it is, the implications for ownership are going to be the same. It's still going to be, I guess, your ship.
Just to develop on the materialist, if you say it's not the same ship, right? At what point does it become not the same ship?
Right, the last part or something.
Yeah. When you change one piece of wood, is it not the same ship anymore? And I think ultimately it doesn't matter, because even if you say, okay, it's not the same ship, it's been replaced. Like in what parameters is it not the same ship?
Exactly. It's still matter? Yours, and it also still does the exact same things because it has the exact same parts. And I guess the two big arguments could be like, okay, when 51% of it becomes another a ship composed of other parts, not the original parts, or until the last part. And in both cases, that's kind of like it's just a bad argument. But we're also just summarizing the popular takes. The good take is it's not really a problem. It's a non-problem.
Yeah. Well, you talked about the human implication, right? There's if you go deep into philosophy, there's arguments about if there's a continuity in your life and who you are, right? And in what sense is there a continuity? So I was born, and I was, when I was a little baby, I had none of the cells that I now have. I mean, actually, I had neurons, right, that keep constant and that are the same. But my skin cells, my organ cells, other cells, everything gets renewed. Some faster than others. The cells of the tongue get renewed faster, and then skin, and then everything just gets, your hair falls out and new hair grows out. And then there's an argument where you can argue that you're not the same person you were at your birth, although it seems like you're continuous, in your mind. And what do we say about that?
Yeah, so, okay. Because everything in your body changes, the only thing that's left is kind of the core of your brain, the neurons that are there from day one. So, okay, that becomes an interesting consideration when we learn about brain transplants. So that's the only way where it's interesting to ask, okay, what is continuity if I can now transplant a brain from one body to the other?
Right, if my brain and nervous system, which are, well, I'm pretty sure the only things that don't change, right, are transplanted into another body which has the same proportions and has the same, height, so it doesn't change much. And then I'm in a new body. Am I the same person or am I not the same person? And yeah, we were talking about this the other day, and what I said was, go ahead, transplant a brain into another body and see what happens. Until then,
yeah, it's just a question that will answer itself through time. It's only interesting application will literally answer itself through time. But here's the answer. If you want a sneak peek at what it's going to be. The way your brain is structured is affected by your body and your sensory experience. So let's say you've lived with a wingspan of 82 inches, and now you have 80 inches as a wingspan. The moment your brain is transplanted into another body, or buddy, as Alex said, everything starts to shift. And eventually you will become less and less yourself. So what's going to happen is, the next time you pick up a mirror, your whole reality will be shaken, right? Because for the first time in X years, you're not going to look like yourself. Your arms are going to be different. Your fingers are going to be different. Everything that you see is going to be different. And the only thing that will relate you to the past you with time will be the memories. And even those kind of fade. Wow, I don't know. That felt pretty poetic. But what I'm saying is, if you want an answer, which, hey, the answer doesn't matter, and also it will be explained in time. But if you want an answer, it's going to be this. At the beginning, you can say you're still yourself in another body. But with time, that will change. Because also, our personality is shaped by our body, right? People who are attractive are treated very differently, right? The attention they get, the looks they get, the things that are said to them. So in our interactions with others, which is what shapes our brain the most, that's like everything's going to change. So yeah, if you make a clone of the same body, just literally clone the same body, my body. Okay, well, that's not even interesting. But you take it and then you remove the brain from one and you put it in the other, then I'm going to be myself. But yeah, if you want an answer for continuity, I don't know why. You're probably a sci-fi freak, but hey, here it is.
Yeah, I was going to bring up sci-fi too. I think this sort of matches our disinterest in sci-fi because
it doesn't exist.
Well, I hesitate to say that the implications are sparse because, there were a lot of movies about AI, and now AI is becoming more real, and, at what point does it become sentient, etc., etc. But it seems like with this question, not only because cloning is so far away if it ever happens, but also just because in this case, our intuition brings up zero problems. Our intuition is that we're a continuous person. Our mind stays continuous even if all our cells change. It doesn't matter. You stay in the same body. What problem does our intuition bring up? Zero, right? Legally,
exactly.
Morally,
like legally, what's gonna happen is if your brain is transplanted, you're gonna get a new passport or whatever, and it's gonna have your name if you choose to keep the same name, and it's gonna have your record, your criminal record, and it's gonna have your new face, and that's kind of the only implication that is important systematically or systemically, right? That's it.
Doesn't really matter. Okay,